Hey, David,
Yes,
I've
sir.
got a question. Why do insurance company want to know my
Why
radius?
do insurance companies want another radius? And what happens if you go beyond the radius?
Exactly.
Okay, that's a pretty simple question. For truck drivers, for car haulers, for box trucks, the reality is that the insurance company wants to know how much mileage they're exposed to. And the reason is because the more frequently that the truck driver or the whatever the vehicle is, the more frequently they're entering and exiting the roadway, that tells them how much they're exposed to possibly having an accident and paying out a claim. And so therefore they ask on every single case what radius you expect to stay in. On top of that, if you're going to go over, I think it's 100 miles. I'm not sure the exact number. You have to check with your local jurisdiction or whatever, with the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. If you're going to go over 100 miles, 150 miles, you're actually required to carry logbooks. So that tells whether or not they're in service or out of service, the hours of service, and all of that. So it does a couple things. It helps the insurance company. It also helps you, and it helps the DOT know if you're in compliance. Now, what happens from an insurance perspective? I guess this is question number two. What was question number two? From
Right. What happens if I go above? You know,
what happens if you go above the radius? Well, if you go above and beyond, or if you go outside of your radius, if it's just a once in a while thing from an insurance company perspective, that's not a problem. But if you regularly go outside of your radius, then one of two things could happen. One, the insurance company could assume by pulling up reports that are maintained by the DOT, if you're inspected or you're stopped or whatever the case is, they can look and tell where you're operating. So if you operate outside of your radius, especially on a regular basis, the insurance company could either one, they could increase your rate to reflect the radius, or two, they could non-renew you because you misrepresented yourself on the policy. And again, the reason is because they want to make sure that they are rating you for the exposure, and so that the insurance company can stay profitable. The last thing we want to do is write a policy or a group of policies uh, that make where the insurance company does not collect the right rate, and say for instance they end up paying out a lot of claims that that result from drivers outside of the radius. For instance, if everybody rated with a 100-mile radius, and but you're going 1,000 miles, then this resulted in a lot of claims. Then the insurance company would have a hard time ensuring that they have a good. The insurance company would have a hard time with their profitability, and in the end, that would result in higher rates for everyone. So the radius is a way to differentiate as well, differentiate between driver A that stays around Dallas, that only hauls cars around Dallas or only hauls freight around Dallas within the Metroplex, or B, the guy that covers the entire state, or C, the guy that covers all, 48 states. So the radius is a way to differentiate and make sure that we got the 1,000-mile drivers with the 1,000-mile drivers, so that when those drivers, when they rate those drivers with a 1,000-mile radius or an unlimited radius, they are grouped with people just like them, versus saying the unlimited guy has the same rate as the 100-mile guy. It's not fair for the 100-mile guy, and nor is it fair for the 1,000-mile guy. Does that make sense?
that makes sense. So just exposure.
It's exposure
It's
in essence.
exposure. Okay.
It really is.
What happens if I go out of state and I had a fender bender? And I
Well, I had one of those recently. It's funny you asked that. Recently, I got a phone call from the insurance company. I won't name the insurance company, but this client was rated for a 300-mile radius. But in talking to the client, they said, well, I couldn't find loads in the state of Texas or close by that paid enough money, et cetera, et cetera. So I started taking these long radiuses. If there's a claim, if there's a loss outside of your radius, then the insurance company is going to look at that, and they're going to refer it to the underwriting department. The underwriting department is going to contact the agent, me, and they're going to ask us what is going on. And so we have to make sure that we know what's going on with our clients, so we have to interview them. The ultimate result is that the insurance company may, for audit purposes, ask for the company's logbooks. They may decide to just non-renew the person. They may not cancel them mid-term, but you can expect something to happen, whether it be a rate increase, an audit, or something to happen because of an accident or going outside of the radius, and that, especially if it results in a loss.
Very well.
All right, that's my tip for the day. And if you have any questions, need help on commercial insurance in Texas, especially in the Dallas area, give me a shout.